Hi there, I'm Emma Luzzi at Blue Sky Philanthropy, and I'm here to share my 4 favorite questions to ask your donors. My number 1 favorite question to ask is, what inspired your generous gift? This is a great question. It can be used in many different situations. It can be used on the phone with a smaller donor when you're calling them to thank them for their gift. I've used this at receptions or cocktail parties with larger donors, and I've heard amazing stories back from this, lots of heartfelt and values-driven reasons for a donor giving their gift. So that's a great question to ask, to add to your donor conversation toolbox. My second favorite question is, what do you hope to achieve with your philanthropy? Oftentimes when you're having a conversation with a donor, it's a little bit like peeling that onion and trying to get down to the values that are really motivating the donor to give and what change they want to see in the world. So that can be a great way to start that conversation as well. My third favorite question I like to call the next step question. I always like to leave a conversation with a donor or a meeting with a donor with the next step already agreed upon. So when I ask the next step question, it might look a little something like this. It seems like going on a tour of our children's program might be a great next step for us. How does that sound to you? So it's a great way to phrase it if you've already got an idea of what you want the next step for the donor to be, because you're suggesting it and you're also asking them to consent to it or agree upon it as well, so that they're involved in the decision-making process. So however you phrase it, always ask for a next step before you end that donor meeting or donor call. And my final and 4th question, which is a great follow-up question to the next step question, is there anyone else who needs to be at the table next time we meet? This is a really good way to make sure that you're involving everybody who needs to be involved in that conversation, because you just don't know, if you haven't asked the donor, if there may be other folks who are influential in their decision making and their giving. There may be a partner, there may be a spouse, another family member. So just making sure you've asked that question opens it up for the donor to let you know if somebody else needs to be involved in their giving process. So those are my 4 favorite questions. I love to write about and share videos about topics like this. If you'd like to see more, go to my website at blueskyphilanthropy.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.